Facebook. For example, Sholom.
Because with this huge room.
The only portion that's untouched and unharmed, I mean, it's all old. That's the book of Isaiah.
I really like
And Mary Dinah was excited about that because that's his bar mitzvah.
Rabbi, I have a question for you.
Yes, sure.
What year does the Torah end?
What year does the Torah end?
It has our history.
Whatever it does.
But it ends, of course, before the Holocaust, because that would have been in the Torah.
There's no connection. Okay, you're talking about a collection of, dare I say it, myths,
Yes.
legends,
Yes.
stories. It's easier to clock when they canonize the Torah, when they said these are the books of the Torah.
Okay.
But as far as the events of the Torah,
Yes.
I mean,
What was the last event?
the last event, what happens, well, the last book of the Torah is Divrei Hayamim, is the book of Chronicles, which is very dull indeed. It's a recap of the stories that are told in the books of Samuel, as well as the books of 1 and 2 Kings. And modern scholarship says that Deuteronomy and those other books I mentioned were originally a single unit. But you're not going to find a rock in the wilderness that says Kilroy was here and he brought Moses. We're just not that. When you're a wandering people,
Yes.
you don't have any possibility of leaving evidence of your having been there.
I see.
There's a famous story, though. I mean, if you like this one, you can have it. Menachem Begin goes to visit Anwar Sadat. Both of them are blessed memory in Cairo. And is it Cairo? And Sadat takes Begin over to the window of his lavishly appointed office and says, "Look over there, Mr. Prime Minister. There are the Great Pyramids. Aren't they beautiful?" And Begin, of course, says, "Of course they are. We built them." So, again, Robert, this is all, we know, I say something happened.
Okay.
I'm not one of those rabbis who does a whole song and dance on why the splitting of the Red Sea couldn't have happened. Something happened.
Okay.
But it's like the fish story. The more often you tell the story, the farther away the fish gets, the bigger the fish gets, and pretty soon you're catching it by radio. I'm sorry I didn't answer your question.
You did answer my question.
Well, I'm glad to hear
There's
that,
no
because I didn't think I
There's
answered
no
it.
definite answer. Is the
What I
answer.
usually do is pass the buck to Dr. Lichtenstein, because he's a specialist.
Probably the last book to be written
Yes.
is Daniel,
Oh,
because that brings you already into Ptolemy and Seleucid and
it's not even all in Hebrew. Part of it is in Aramaic, which is a totally late creation. It's a mix. It's not Arabic. It's a mixture of Greek and Hebrew, the same way that Yiddish is a mixture of Hebrew and whatever country you happen to be living in at the moment. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead. That's it.
That's it.
Well, that's wonderful.
There ain't no more.
And I look forward to hearing whatever remains. Okay.
With a tie like that, you can have anything
You
you
like
want.
that?
That's a great tie.
Is this a great? I don't
Yes.
know where I got this. Okay, but I can say that about 3/4 of my wardrobe. I think I steal it from the shul. Okay, no, this one was mine. All right, it's Baha'alotcha. Hi, I'm David Mark. I'm the rabbi. Hello, Al. We've met before. That's fine. I'll get it for you. Yes, who are you?
Shlomo
Miss. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. What's your Christian name?
Sterling.
Sterling, Mr. Sterling. How do you do, Mrs. Sterling? Not Mrs.
Mara
Sterling. Miss Axelman. How do you do? Okay. There. Shh. Shabbos. It's really okay.
Try it.
Don't get me started on mitzvah night. Okay. Oh, that would be in very poor taste. Okay. All right. Well, here we are in the book of Numbers, Bamidbar, and it's Baha'alotcha. And Baha'alotcha by itself means the ha'alot, to raise the candles, to light the candles in the sanctuary. And the tribe of Levi. You know Levi Strauss?
Same one.
Nice Jewish boy from Germany.
Yeah.
What he does is, it's the gold rush of 1849, and all half of America, the ones that aren't oppressing and killing the Indians, the Native Americans, rush off to California because they've discovered gold in them thar hills. Did I say that right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So, nothing daunted, Levi Strauss wants to make a couple of bucks. He doesn't want to pan for gold, so he buys a load of canvas and goes out west. And he makes friends with several of the miners, and one day one of them comes into his store. He has a general store. The Jews all had stores, except for Josephine Earp. She married Wyatt. Anyway, she wrote her own memoir. She was quite
made
a
that up,
character,
right?
Josephine was. I'm sorry?
Just made that up, right?
No, this is legit. No, this is history. This is not Torah, but it is
Obviously.
Jewishly related. Okay? And this miner comes into the store, it sounds like a joke, and he says, Levi, my pants are wearing out with all of these gold nuggets here, Zachenweh, they're gold nuggets, that I'm carrying. Can you make me a pair of pants that will withstand the tug of gold nuggets? And you see, I have done this myself, and I know what it's like being a miner in 1849 California, and I went back in time. Okay, so Levi makes him this pair of pants out of canvas, and he of course uses rivets instead of stitches, and the miner is thrilled, and he spreads the word, and pretty soon Levi is overwhelmed with orders, and he changes it of course to denim. And that's why, remember that famous trademark with the two horses pulling on the pants?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where Levi's came from, really. So why did Lee get so popular? I don't know if they're a Jewish outfit. Okay, I don't remember where they are. You should read your pants more often. Okay. All right. Well, there's a second Passover because they can get the matzah really cheap. And yes, sir, Mr. Sterling.
At one time, I had 12 Levi-only stores.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Was that the Gap? I remember the Gap.
No, this was called the Hip Pocket.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Can we get
I remember
discounts?
the Gap from Manhattan. I went in. I was so thin. How thin were you? I was a shadow of my current self. And I bought white Levi's. What was I thinking? I looked like the Good Humor Man, really. And then I took my lovely girlfriend, who afterwards, in a fit of madness, became my wife.
There's still a Gap. You can still go in and get
Is
them.
there still the Gap?
Yeah,
Does the Gap exist?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I remember the commercial. Fall into the Gap. Toys R Us is coming back. This has absolutely nothing to do with the
I was
Torah.
going to say,
Okay.
we're off
All
track.
right, so they institute, because apparently there were Israelites who were tameh, they were ritually unclean. If you were ritually unclean, you could not partake of the Korban Pesach, the Passover offering. And so Moses very conveniently establishes a Pesach Sheni, a second Passover, so that these previously unfortunates can now have, I've said this before, but how come the Christians get jelly eggs and chocolate bunnies and jelly beans, and the Jews get a flat cracker and horseradish? I just don't think it's fair. Okay?
jelly rings.
Yeah,
I like
well,
those. I like chocolate. I like those.
Leland, what are they? What are they really?
I
Do you
don't
ever
know.
see-
They're chocolate. And what can be
Are
bad?
they Passover chocolate? Have you ever seen Passover chocolate? It sits in your hand and refuses to melt, and you say, "Are you chocolate?" It says, "Yeah, I'm Jewish chocolate. Leave me alone." Okay, tough chocolate we have. Yes. Okay, God gives instructions on the procedures for Israel's journeys and encampments for the desert. Okay, they're in the wilderness. They don't have GPS, and of course, come on, you can get from Israel to Egypt in 6 hours. Okay, I had a friend with a Fiat car. He was driving a Fiat. My friend was driving a Toyota. Now, he flipped over the Fiat, but still, you can get there in 6 hours. Why did it take 40 years for the Israelites
Didn't have
to...
GPS.
They didn't have GPS. The real reason, truly, this is what the rabbis told me, and if you want, can you believe a rabbi? The rabbis said that the wilderness was a crucible. Okay, the crucible is a jeweler's tool to separate the gold from the dross. So all of the dross died off in the wilderness. You like that? That's a midrash. That's a legend. Can you live with that?
Yeah.
I make it a gift to you. All right. They had been camping at Sinai for nearly a year. So don't think that every day was, come on, let's go, like in camp. You know? They would play. Why did they do that? They couldn't have a guy with a real horn? No. Anyway, no, they didn't travel every single day. In at least one instance, they stay in one place for 3 years. So their masehem, their travels were not so traveling. Okay, now let's just say every morning manna falls from heaven and it bounces off the roof of your tent, and you can grind it and make it into any shape you want, and it tastes like sesame seeds mixed with honey. And you eat that for 40 years. Can you eat halava for 40 years? I eat halava maybe 2, maybe 3 times a day. A day. A year. Now what's better? What's that Israeli brand? Achva. Only the Israelis would name their halava fellowship. Yes, this is fellowship halava. It brings the Jews together. And then there's joiva from Brooklyn. So what's better? Who are my joiva people?
The other stuff.
There you go.
Okay, who are my achva people? Okay, so joiva wins.
Yeah, by
Yes,
one
it is
vote.
chocolate covered. They used to have a block.
2-1.
Remember the block of halava?
Yeah, and they,
But the truth is that achva makes a sugar-free halava. And it had to happen, right? Dietetic
You
halava.
could get that in Hummus House on 20th Street on Sunrise.
Hummus house?
Hummus House, yeah.
Is it a house built of hummus?
It's a house that serves hummus and all kinds of Mediterranean Israeli dishes.
Oh, is it
And
the house that Yankel built?
It may be. They have.
Did Aretha Franklin sing about it?
I think so,
This is a house that Yankel built, y'all.
but they make the best shakshuka.
What? Oh, yeah, you know, I have mixed feelings about shakshuka.
They make it really well.
Really
and they
well.
have,
One of my big friends.
and they have
Okay.
halava
Yes.
without sugar.
Yes.
That's real pistachio. That's really
Is it good?
That's wonderful.
Real
I like
We
that
used
place.
to go. I
Love
think
it.
he's.
Yeah.
I think he's deceased now. But there was a gentleman. I don't even see. I don't know where anything is. Ann Beth drives me places, and I say, "Okay, where are we?" It doesn't matter. She'll get me back in the next time. And this guy sold the best pita. Okay, it was like pita clouds. It was fluffy pita because that's all I needed—an excuse to eat more bread. But I'm nearly positive that the owner of the store, there were 3 stores, was a retired member of the Mossad, okay? Because when he was done spying for Israel, they said, go to Florida and open a pita store, and if you hear anything, whatever, get back to us, okay?
Not in the Torah either.
Right. No, that's not in the Torah. That's an instant midrash. Okay. All right. They don't want any more halava, and they complain. Jews are very good at complaining, and why not? The first time they complain is in the Torah. Do Adam and Eve complain? No, they're not really Jewish.
Adam complained.
What did he complain about?
He said, the woman that you sent me,
Oh, yes.
Made me do it.
Excuse us.
He didn't say.
that was
He didn't say. I feel a draft.
No.
I'm not in the mood. Got a backache, have a headache.
She said that
Okay.
The lady behind
The serpent.
I just got it.
There you go. All right, well, we can agree that the Israelites are bored with the halava. Even though Rashi, you can't mess with Rashi. Rashi is number 1. Rashi is Rav Shlomo ben Yitzchak. He is not the first biblical commentator, but he's there. He's so there, okay? He's a feminist. There's a midrash that he taught his daughters to lay tefillin. We'll never know. And his grandsons, the Baalei HaTosafot, which means the masters of the additions. Okay? Rashi is always on the inside margin of the Talmud. The grandsons are on the outside. The text is in the middle. And all they do is argue with grandpa. Back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes you just got to close your Talmud because it's so argumentative. really. It's not final law anyway. Okay. So Rashi quotes a midrash to the effect that the the manna tasted like anything they wanted. How do you like them apples?
More like that.
Could it taste like a pastrami on club?
I hope so.
With a half sour pickle?
Anything. You said
Order
anything.
of fries?
You said anything.
Far from what is going to be the food of the future, let's say.
The food of the future?
What the astronauts they get and they get.
It comes out of a toothpaste tube.
Yeah, whatever, but tastes like.
Oh,
Tastes like a
yummy.
pastrami on rye.
Some of the sages said it was actually locusts.
Manna was locusts?
Yes.
Could you have them baked, boiled, or
I
fried?
guess you can.
What bracha do you make over a locust?
Oh, I don't know.
Borei minei, ugh. Okay, this thing just crawled out from under the refrigerator. Do I have to eat it?
It's not kosher. It's not
No,
kosher.
bald locusts are kosher. So if you see one that's wearing a toque, you can eat it. A bald
That's
locust,
okay.
B-A-L-D,
Okay.
karachad.
Peluca,
Okay. What, how do you say that?
peluca.
Peluca? Is that a wig?
Wig.
A week.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. You see, I took 4 years of French. That's why I speak perfect Spanish. Okay. All right. Anyway, so they want meat. Now, this is not a pleasant thing. God sends them flocks of quail, and they capture the quail in nets, and they roast the quail, and they eat it. Personally, I'd be interested to see somebody flick a quail. They're so teeny tiny. My mother went through her Cornish game hen period. My
Pigeon,
mother would go
pigeon,
through
pigeon,
periods where
pigeon.
every supper, every dinner was the same GD thing, okay? Chopped meat. She mixed the chopped meat with spinach. She's pan frying it, mind you, okay? Yes, spinach. She mixed the chopped meat with pastrami. That already was better because it added fat to the fat. I come home late one night from yeshiva. She says, "What do you want me to make with the chopped meat?" I said, "Make it into a hat." She didn't like that. Okay? So then Friday nights, generally she served one chicken. Okay? My sister and I both got a breast, so to speak, and my parents each got a thigh. And that was the way it was. 3-pound chicken, 7-pound chicken, 1-pound chicken. Didn't matter. That's what we had, okay? Because my Uncle Henry had a live poultry market in Williamsburg. And he owned parking lots. You should own a parking lot.
Yeah.
It's very low maintenance and the money just comes pouring in. Okay. So my mother would take me to the poultry market, and he had everything. He had chickens in boxes and roosters walking around saying, "I'm a rooster, nobody's going to eat me," and rabbits up front.
Oh.
And one day I came to visit him, and he takes a pigeon, puts it in a paper bag, and hands it to me and says, "David, here's a pigeon for you." And my mother says, "David, give Uncle Henry back his pigeon." Okay. I'm really, honestly, I'm getting very close to becoming a vegan, except when meat is around. So, otherwise, what can I say? All right, so while they're eating the quail, what happens to them? God strikes them with a multiple choice. Television show, pizza, plague. Yes, he strikes them with a plague. Well, maybe they didn't cook it enough. Okay, can you tell when the little plastic thing pops up? That's how you know the quail is done.
In the oven.
He sends a plague. It's like, come on, God, that's like a bad joke. What a terrible thing. I'll show you not to be greedy. We just wanted little flaychicks. We only have this one set of silverware. Come on. So they use plastic for the quail. And then Moses says, "Okay, I can't take you people anymore. All you do is complain. You kvetch. Although, when is kvetching a good thing? As long kvetchere vivere. That's the Jewish motto. As long as you're kvetching, you're in good shape. When you stop kvetching, that's not good. Okay? Right, aufzus. All right. So he appoints 70 elders. He gives them each 1/70th of his prophetic powers, and they prophesy. They're supposed to lead the people, but they disappear from the text. You never hear from them again. It's like, what's the matter? You didn't like the salary? But there are 2 left, Eldad and Medad. Isn't that great? Nobody names their kid Eldad and Medad anymore. It's really
We'll
a
start
shame.
a-
Eldad, come here.
start
Clean
a
up your
trend.
room. What?
We'll start a trend on Facebook.
There you go. And a lot of church groups have men's clubs called the Eldad Medad group, okay? And they worship the Shekinah. Anyway, so that's what they call it.
Is that
Okay.
why Robert Kawasaki got Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Probably, yes, yes. The Jews invented it. The
Got
Jews
it.
invented everything.
Got it.
Yes, yes. The Jews invented sushi. Not too many people know that. Okay, all right. Okay, so Eldad and Medad, and Joshua, that tattletale, he comes to Moses and says, "My Lord Moses, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp." Like what? Like there's something wrong with this? Okay? I mean, nowadays we'd say they were probably schizophrenic, but in those days, come on, it's prophecy. And Moses says, "Would that all the Israelites were prophets and the Spirit of God rested upon them." Because he's tired. He can't take it anymore. He's miserable. He's such a workaholic. He's walking along with his little attaché case through the wilderness, and he can never take a day off. Because all he does is turn around, and there they are. Okay? 1.2 million people, according to Rabbi Gunther Plaut. That's a lot of people. All right. So he, okay, now this is the part that the feminists don't like, including me. Miriam gossips. I'm going to go into that. I wrote a column about that. I took Miriam's side. Miriam allegedly gossips about her brother Moses. And of course, what's the birth order? We've done this before. Moses, Aaron, Miriam. Who's the eldest? Miriam. But she doesn't count because she's a woman. She won't count until 1969. Anyway, so she gossips about Moses. She tells Lashon Hara, evil talk about her brother. And God, of course, here it comes, smites her with leprosy. Yes. The truth is, we don't know what kind of illness it was, because what we call leprosy, Hansen's disease, which is really fearsome, in those days it could have been sunburn, a rash, eczema, the heartbreak of psoriasis, and they're wandering through the wilderness. They don't even have a tube of cortisone. Or talcum powder. See, I could not escape from Egypt without my cornstarch talcum powder. Or sunscreen, exactly. It was rough. It was really rough. So they put Miriam into a tent, and it takes 7 days for her to be recovered from her leprosy. And what I did was, I wrote a dialogue in which Tzipporah, Moses' wife, goes to see her sister-in-law Miriam, because it's Tzipporah who really suffers in the whole thing. If your old man, if your husband, is always at the office and you have no home life, she's the one who complains. It was simply Miriam who conveyed her complaint to, I don't know
But her
what.
complaint was about Zipporah. That's what she gossiped
See,
about.
I think,
supposedly.
allegedly, that's what it says in the text. But don't forget, the text is written by men for men.
She was Ethiopian and she was a different color.
They were all Ethiopian. They came from
And
Egypt.
Miriam made comments about that.
But they were all dark-skinned. Really, they didn't look like me. Pale-skinned Polish people like me, we don't come along for a few centuries, okay? And my son, my gosh, Jordan. When Jordan was born, he also with the Polish thing, we used to say, you don't have to x-ray Jordan, you just hold him up to a strong light, okay? No, you're right. In terms of the
That's what it
text,
says.
but this is my midrash.
Okay.
I really feel bad for Tzipporah. She has 2 boys, Gershom and who's the other? Elazar. And they vanish from the text. That's the thing, and I'll end with this. The Torah is not literature. The Torah is not a storybook. It's supposed to teach us about ourselves, even the parts we can't understand. And I don't take it literally. I was raised as an Orthodox Jew to take it literally. But that's why people come and go with such regularity. You're never going to hear about Eldad and Medad again. The 70 elders certainly don't do what Moses appointed for them to do, but Moses appears in every single chapter. And eventually he says, God, kill me. I can't take these people anymore. So he really is a tragic figure. I had sermon by Rabbi Jonathan Sachs. He's late rabbi of the British Empire, and I was going to share it with you, but I'm not going to. He says Moses was the greatest Jewish leader. Was Moses the greatest Jewish leader?
Yes.
No,
What about Ben Gurion?
You were.
Well, Noah wasn't Jewish, I'm sorry. He was pre-Jewish. But he was a heck of a builder, I'll tell you. They loved him at Lowe's. Really. When he came in and said, I got to build, it's like that old line, what's his name? Abraham was not bad. He was lonely, but he was not bad. Anybody else?
Gold in my ear.
Gold in my ear? Sure. I just finished reading a bio of Moshe Dayan, and he was a flawed hero. He definitely was. But he was in the right place at the right time. And there's one more I'm going to throw into the mix. Shabtai Tzvi, okay? The false Messiah. He was totally bipolar, but he was in the right place at the right time, and he gave the Jews hope. And in the end, what do we need? Then or now? We need hope. Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. And my opposite number is here. And he's been practicing all week. So, opposite number is a compliment. Okay. Okay.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Let's light the candles.
Yes, good idea.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, it's something that we don't do so often.
Yes, could you light the candles? You don't have to do the blessing. We all do it together. I learned it last week.
I know. I do know
Oh,
it.
wonderful. That's great. Okay. This will be on the final.
Ladies, please.
Yes, we have. Yes. Here we go. We've got a box of matches from the year. Well, that's questionable, yes. Well,
You were good there.
okay, we wave our hands. Yeah. We're bringing Shabbat. Cover our eyes and sing together. Baruch Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, le'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, Vitzivanu, Vitzivanu, lehadlik ner. Vitzivanu, Vitzivanu, lehadlik ner. Vitzivanu, Vitzivanu, lehadlik ner. Shel Shabbat. Amen.
Shabbos, sweetheart. How are you?
Good, good.
Shabbos.
Three words. Shabbat.
Shalom. Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Shalom, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 15.
The next page, page 16, last 4 lines. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'kareh haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, V'kareh haaretz. Yiramayam, 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 Noah, Yiramayam, 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 Yagalo sabe kol asher bo asierarenu, kol atzeyar, Livnei Adonai kiba kiba nishpot haaretz, yishpot hevel betzedek ve'hamim be'emunato. Okay, somebody told me that the bride, the queen is coming. So, let's greet the queen. On page number 21. No, you can be seated. 21 and 22.
I don't want anybody thinking.
No, you got it.
The colors are
Shabbat Kabbalah.
Shamor v'sachor ve'limune kadishmiyanu elameinu kadadora yechado שמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה
Kodi, Kala, Shabbat, Kabbalah, Kodi, Kala, Shabbat, Kabbalah.
לקראת שבת לקרוב אליך כי היא מקור אברך בראש מקדם נסוך סוף מעשה ומעשה שמתחילה לרך דודי לקראת קלה
Shabbat, Kabbalah, Kodi, Kala, Shabbat, Kabbalah.
Page 22, please rise, face the door through which the Sabbath will enter.
Hoy ושלום בלגן בשמחה ובצלתו חמודי הסגולה בואי קלה לרקדותי לקראת קלה אלה שבת לקבלה לרקדותי לקראת קלה אלה שבת לקבלה. Okay, you may be seated.
Page 23.
מזמור השיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולסמר לשמך עליון, ולסמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות. עשור ועלילה ולעלה היגיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולסמר לשמך עליון, ולסמר לשמך עליון. צדיק אתה המר יפרח כארץ ולבנון נבחר שתולים בבית אדוני וכתב אלוהינו יפריחו.
All right, we'll turn to page 28. All please rise. We'll open the ark. And would you please honor us by opening the ark? Yes, please. And the inside curtain.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם הבא. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
curtain is closed. You may be seated. The doors remain open. Let's find a nice reading. Okay, this is, all right, page 362. Let's read the top paragraph in assurance and in doubt. God speaks in assurance and in doubt.
When we are vexed, when many paths beckon, and we cannot choose our way, God illumines the way. Assurance comes to the soul, and we are again at peace. And when we have chosen unwisely and feel smugly content, God disturbs us with doubt to challenge us that we might rethink our way.
Just shows you if you write a very short essay and lay it out like a poem, people think it's a poem. Okay. All right. 28.
מבדיל בין יום ולילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אמרי
Amen. Page 29.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למענך. אדוני אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך. תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 30, we'll cover our eyes, show God cannot be seen. We'll do the Shema, and then we'll read the English paragraph. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, uncover the eyes. And the English paragraph, you shall love.
You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates.
We'll read silently from the bottom of 30 to the end of the Hebrew paragraph on 31.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם.
Midway down, 32.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם, משה ובני ישראל לכלו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך מלך הקודש, נורא תהילות עושה מלכותך ראו ונקה, בוקע ים לבנה לי משה, סדיאנו ואמרו,
אדוני ימלוך לעולם
מרכיפה אדוני אל יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל.
On 33, the top left-hand English paragraph, this is where we think about the folks we know, Jewish, Gentile, friend, relative, anyone at all, and ask God for healing prayers. I wanted to mention that Annbeth told me this afternoon about Steve Lawrence. We all remember Steve Lawrence.
Yeah.
Well, he's getting on. Edie is gone. Let her rest in peace. And apparently he has Alzheimer's. And he said, don't feel bad for him. He says every day has been a joy, and he wants to share that joy with everyone. And I think it's important. I'm not the most cheerful guy in the world, but we have to focus on the good times. And I'm gonna miss Steve. Okay, let's go around. Of course, we're thinking about. No, he's still here, but well, whatever. Okay. Let's see. We've got Laura Durant, Refuah Shalema. We've got Howard Elakman, Refuah Shalema. Ruth Gale, Refuah Shalema.
Alice Brown Prestia.
Alice Braun Prestia, Refuah Shalema. Okay. Now we'll go around and people can mention personal friends, relatives. Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Nicole Rubinson.
Refuah Shalema. Okay. All right. Yes, Arnold.
Jerome and Marlene Rader.
Refuah Shalema. Yes, Jason.
Michelle J. Gomez,
Refuah Shalema.
Gerald D'Ambrosio,
Refuah Shalema.
James Bowman,
Refuah Shalema.
Diana Nick.
Refuah Shalema. Yes, Paul.
Wayne Croy, Irvin
Refuah Shalema.
McCreary, Stuart
Refuah
Epstein,
Shalema.
Joel
Refuah
Sheshman,
Shalema.
David
Refuah
Weinrad,
Shalema.
Bart Dozer,
Refuah Shalema.
Bart Reynolds, Russell Schucker.
Refuah Shalema. Thank you. Okay, yes.
Joe and Judy Kuznets,
Refuah Shalema.
Arlene Carl.
Refuah Shalema.
Esther Newhouse.
Refuah Shalema.
Pearl Katz,
Refuah Shalema.
Lisa Grossman.
Refuah Shalema.
Bruce Martin.
Refuah Shalema.
Heidi Dennis.
Refuah Shalema.
James Bass-Magian,
Refuah Shalema.
Tim Ross.
Refuah Shalema.
Seraphina Klein.
Refuah Shalema. Okay. All right, let's read together. And of course, we pray for the safety of our brave fighting men and women who have been put into harm's way. And I'm not going to say anything more. Let's read together on the top left. Help us, Adonai,
To lie down in peace and awaken us again on
sovereign
sovereign.
to life.
Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us. Our gracious and merciful ruler, guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace, now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise that you are the Lord, who spreads the shelter over peace over us, over all his people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
And the entire world.
Amen.
Rose Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Echad, Baruch Atah Adonai, Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Amo Yisrael, V'al Yerushalayim, Yal Kol Haolam Kulo. Amen. 34 is the Vishamru.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Torah Berit Olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Torah Berit Olam. Israel, Odin leolam, Odin leolam, Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, La'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. הוא היום השביעי שבת בי נפש שבת בי נפש Shabbat v'yinafash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat le'dorotam berit olam.
Please rise, bottom of 34, half Kaddish.
ינעל ויתקדש שם רבה.
אמן.
ינעל יברח שילותי וימליך מלכותך. לך יבנו ימיכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל. בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה ומבורך לעולם ימי המעיין. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשי אלא מכל ברכתה ושירתה קדוש וחצה ונחמתה תמיד
Yamidah, the standing silent prayer, 35b to 38. When you're finished, you may be seated.
All right, we've got the full Kaddish on 48, full Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתגדל השם ברמה. ועל מה דיבר כאילו דבי אמריק מלכות וקאי חונו ויומי חונו וקאי דכל את ישראל ועלה וזו מקלי ואימרו. אמן. יש ברמה מבורך. יהודה ויומיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה לשמי קודשה. לילה מכל ברכתה ושנתה ושבחתה ונקמתה ונעם נעמה ואימרו. תתקבל אצל אדונו כל ישראל כדבר מוגוד בשמיה ואימרו. יהי שלמה רבה משמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואימרו. עושה שלום במרומה ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום במרומה ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל
Page 49 is the Kiddush. All please rise, and the Macharot will give out the Kiddush cups. And I implored the counter to count Omer, and he doesn't want to do it, so just move along. Oh, thanks.
I'm the wine girl.
I don't know if it's Welch's. When I was a kid, Welch's.
Welch's is juice. I have
Is that Welch's? Welch's is kosher.
wine. Thanks.
A little late, we've been doing this how many times?
No, really?
Stay right in front of the juice.
That's not you.
No.
I collect Jews. We'll get it together.
Okay. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, moreh v'ri'ah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, בשבת קודשו, יהבה ברצון הנחילנו. זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כיבוים תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים, עמנו בחרת, יצאנו ננשא, מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך, יעברנו רצון, הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש
Oh, yes.
Keep those taste buds.
Oh, I'll take it.
He's
All right. Yes, Ms. Ronnie King will open the ark. For the Olenu is on page 51. No, there's no sticks. Just kind of.
It's manual.
I appreciate the cantors taking suggestions. We've got the Mourner's Kaddish on page 52. If you're not saying Mourner's Kaddish, you may be seated. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shnei Rabbah, Amen. Yalma, Divrach, Irutei, Yamlich, Machutei. B'chayechon, B'mechon, B'chayei, D'chol Beit Yisrael. V'agalam, Yizman Kariv, Imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Mevorach, Li'olam, Le'el Mayom. Yitbarach, Yishbach, Yitpa'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh. Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shemei, Dekudisha, B'riyechu. Li'elam, Minko, Birchata, B'shirata. Tushchata, B'nechamata. Amiram, B'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama, Rabbah, Shemaya. L'chaim Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom, B'mumav. Uyaseh Shalom. Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'imru, Amen. All right, before the cantor leads us in Adon Olam, we're going to hear a few words from the lovely and talented Ms. Rita Fleming Klein, our temple president.
That was nice. I'm bringing the book because I saw something in it. I learned from Rabbi and from Cantor to look beyond the words, and sometimes the words hit me, as I know they do you too. And there was something that hit me on page 37, and it made me feel that I could tell you how I feel about being with all of you on Shabbat. It said, thanking God for your wonders and gifts that accompany us evening, morning, and noon. And I feel that you are the wondrous gifts to me personally and to Temple Shalom. They were just the right words, and that is how I feel about celebrating Shabbat with all of you. I would like to say as well to the members of the gay community to congratulate them on a beautiful Pride Week and Pride Month. Temple Shalom stands with you now and always. Our doors are open, our hearts are open, and we would love to have you here with us. I want to tell you tomorrow is our more traditional service, starts at 9:30. And after services, Rabbi has his class, which will be on...
And we're going to do the intellectual proofs for God's existence, and then we're going to take them apart. And in case
case that gets too dull, we're going to do why European Jews cut their nails in a particular order.
Okay, that works.
No, I looked this up.
Actually, the first part sounded really but Rabbi's classes are always interesting, and we never know quite where they're going. So come, have a little abyssal coffee and cake with us after services, and then come to Rabbi's class.
Bring a nail clipper.
As well on Wednesdays, his adult Hebrew class at 4:30, and his current events class at 7 o'clock. Cantor Javier is going to be starting a class. Can I say what it is?
Another day.
Another day.
Okay, not the day. You can say.
I can say the
Usted
title.
puede decir.
Okay.
You say, puedo decir
Puedo decir
que todos
que todos
van a poder
van a poder
aprender
aprender
español.
español.
So if you did not understand, you will understand after the course.
Oh, cool.
Actually, the course is going to be called Spanish and Chips. So we're going to learn Spanish and we're going to eat lunch together. So I'm already signed up. So I hope you will sign up too. We are holding off on the date as of yet. We will let you know. It is in the works.
Cool.
So that's going to be wonderful.
Awesome.
Do we know what time of day it will happen?
Not
Well,
yet.
in the
Well,
time-
lunchtime. Lunchtime.
In the
Yeah.
time that the chip will be.
Yeah, whenever the chips are ready. But it's going to be something really enjoyable, and it's actually something that I've really wanted to learn. It really
Oh, cool.
is
It's great.
important to be bilingual, not just in Yiddish particularly now, but in Spanish. It's very, very important. Yiddish is our language of our language of love, for sure. On July 5th, we're going to celebrate July 4th. Friday, July 5th, 6:15, we're having a 4th of July picnic here. Hot dogs and everything that goes with it. Please call the office. It's only $10 a person. It'll be before services, and we can celebrate our beautiful country and our beautiful Jewish lives all in the same night. I mean,
Inside the building.
in the building where it's cool,
Yeah, please.
so we don't schwitz, definitely. And then on July 11th, 18th, and 25th, it's a Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. Our wonderful Dr. Murray Lichtenstein is going to do his lecture series on the Dead Sea Scrolls, also not to be missed. In the future, as well as a date undetermined, we're going to have a mitzvah day, and we're going to have an Adopt the Animals Day, and that is being organized by our Sherry Field Amares, and it's really going to be a mitzvah, because to have a little pet in the house is a mitzvah for us, and it's also a mitzvah for the little pet, so it doesn't sit in a shelter. So we'll let you know when that is happening. The beginning of September 5th, we're having our challah baking day.
Cool.
And on the 6th, a catered Shabbaton. We're planning a lot of things for the coming season, a lot of activities following the high holidays. Right now, I know most of you have received your membership packets. This is the time for our membership drive. I was very happy to give out 3 membership applications tonight, but if you would like to join, we hope you will. We'd love to have you with us. Just call the office or talk to me anytime. And a good Shabbos to you all.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Okay. Page number 54 by request. Adon Olam Asher Malach Ve'ez Nasa Ve'ez Tzoko Azai Melech Shemo Meka Ve'yachkalei Kizol Zako Ve'lohalo Yidom Nora Ve'u Aya Ve'u Move Ve'u Yeh Ve'zin Farah Ve'u Echad Ve'en Shei Ve'am Shilo Ve'am Ve'nireshi Ve'nitzachit Ve'lo'ahu Ve'abisra Ve'u Eli Ve'chai Koali Ve'tzoreli Ve'eschara Ve'u Nisi Humanos Li Ve'akosi Ve'yom Ekra Ve'yato Akit Ruchi Ve'etisha Ve'ya'ira Ve'im Ruchi Ve'biyati Adonai Ve'lo
Please rise for the closing benediction.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'ishmerecha.
May the Lord bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha
The
v'chuneka.
Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Isa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom.
May the Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom. Good
Muy bien.
shot.